Hi, Cindy, and hello, everybody. And this is Rachel Kiefer of Health Nut Girl, helping women fall in love with a healthy life. And this week's self love practice is inviting my good and brilliant friend, Cindy, to join us to talk about food canning. And would you introduce yourself, Cindy, and tell people who you are?
Well, my name is Cindy Kochis. I am a Jackie of many trades. I I am a writer by nature. I always have been. And I'm also a certified health coach and virtual assistant. I'm just going to say that those are my three big gigs right now, where I find, I spend the most of my time. I'm also living the nomadic life. So, yes, what you see behind is a camper. This is my lifestyle, has been for 2 years. Wow, wow. Um,
Yeah,
Crazy. It's just absolutely
yeah.
crazy.
I remember when you made that transition. That was amazing. Yeah,
It was definitely life altering, to say the least.
definitely, definitely. And I know that you are also a very, I would say, I would call you a naturalist because you're somebody who is really thriving, living in nature and loving nature. And you're also a gardener, like, so I know that you grow a lot of your own produce.
I do, and it's been interesting. One of the biggest transitions after letting go of my acreage was that I didn't have a garden to, sinking my hands into the dirt and getting that, the soil under your nails. I miss that desperately. So where I'm staying this summer, I was graced with the kindness to do a container garden, and I have a wide variety of heirloom tomatoes and green beans and summer squash, and I had some peppers, and I've got lots of herbs as well that are growing. Well, it's the end of the season, so they're not really growing anymore, but it has been so wonderful to get, you know, to have a garden again, because I do love to put food away. That's what I call like canning or drying or freezing, because what I'm doing is I'm
Yes,
saving it for another day. And
absolutely,
yeah, and
absolutely.
you know,
How
it
did you learn about food canning? How did you start doing that?
it's really funny. I guess it was just intuitive. I remember way back when I was probably 3 or 4 years old, and I went into my great grandmother's house, and she had canned peaches all lining the cupboards and the
Wow.
table, and canned green beans and all of that. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. Well, my mother didn't do any of that, so I guess when my kids were growing up and I was coming into my own health issues, and my dietary needs were changing, and I was starting to become really aware of what I was eating, and had to. What I started doing was making a lot of my own foods, and then I literally, it was also to help save money, but it was mainly so that I knew what was in my food. And I
Mm.
started canning my own applesauce and salsa and stewed tomatoes. I was doing pickling green beans. Oh my God, pickled asparagus are to die for. So um,
Mm.
I just, it was more out of curiosity than really, I didn't have anybody teach me. I
Yeah.
mean, I read the books. I at that point Google wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
But I read the books on it, and I was able to ask like my grandmother at the time, you know, how did you do it, and what did you do, and stuff like
Great.
that. So,
That's great. And you know what I love about that too is that it's kind of like a lost tradition that a lot of us have um, lost the knowledge of. But if you look at our ancestors, it's something that people used to do. And it was, people did it traditionally for many different reasons. One of them is that, you know, like when there's a season where there's a big harvest, you kind of stretch the harvest and you save some of the produce for when it's not growing anymore. It's a way to provide our body with nutrients during the winter time. And like you said, it's like it's done naturally without any harmful ingredients, like not the same way as when you go to a store and you buy canned food, you know, like it's completely different. And you use the produce when it's peaked, you know, like when it's full of nutrients, and that nutrients are in there even if you're eating them a month later or 2 months later or 3 months later. So that is wonderful. I really love that. I also love that it, you know, like it focuses on what grows in your local environment. Because I
hmm
think now you can pretty much go to a food store and you can find anything any time of year, because things are imported from all over the world. Um,
right.
and eating things that grow in your local environment kind of keeps your body more in harmony with nature than when you're eating things that come from different climates at different times of the year. So I love that. But I have to admit that I'm somebody who's very intimidated by, I've never canned before. I don't know how to do it. And I feel intimidated by it and just think like, it's complicated or hard. So what would you say to someone who feels that this is a foreign thing for them?
You know, we talk ourselves out of so many things because you know, it's that am I doing it right? Am I going to give myself salmonella poisoning, or you know, is when I'm going to crack it open, is it going to be, you know, like green, or you know, fuzzy and crawling out of the jar, you know? um, and that will always, when I first started canning, I use a hot water bath. I
Mhm.
haven't done the pressure cooking canning yet. Um, and of course, I have to borrow a kitchen right now. I can't do it here because, for one, the big pot of water that you put the, you know, the product into, my stove won't handle the weight. So, anyways, so basically, just start, pick it up and start. Pick up a recipe, find one that, you know, appeals to you. Just like baking a cake. You're not going to bake a cake that has ingredients that you're like going, yeah, no.
Yeah.
That, ugh. You're
Yeah.
not going to do that. So find a canning recipe, and truly go to the, like, Ball, who is one of the canning well-known canning jar companies, and go to their website, look at their, you know, look at their recipes. And the important thing is, so that you to ensure that you're not going to have spoilage, you want to make sure that things are sanitized, your jars are sanitized, your lids, the utensils that you're using. When
How do
you're,
you sanitize them?
well, boiling water,
Boiling
actually.
water. Okay.
You know, well, your, like, your knives, your cutting board, you're going to want to wash those with hot soapy water. And then, like, your canning jars, you don't want to just take them out of the package, you know, because they come in a 12 pack. You don't want to pop the plastic and immediately use it. You want to wash it because you don't know what was in the manufacturing
Right.
area where it was assembled.
Right.
So you want
So
to,
boiling water is a good sanitizer.
yep, yep. And when I'm washing, I tend to put some vinegar in the water as well, just the glug
Yeah,
of vinegar, because vinegar is also a natural way to sanitize.
wonderful.
And yeah, that's the main thing, is making sure that your stuff is clean. When you're cooking, follow the recipe, because those recipes, like I said, with those that are with the manufactured, or with a reputable canning, they have a balanced acid. You want to make sure your acids are balanced, because like some recipes are going to call for lemon juice, and you're going to be like, I don't want lemon juice in there. For example, applesauce will have lemon juice in it. You need that acidity in it to preserve it.
Right,
It also helps to keep the apples from turning icky brown,
right,
but it's
right.
also to ensure that the acid is regulated and keeps the food from spoiling.
Okay.
So,
Do you have a recipe to share with us so people can try?
well, I will definitely forward one to you. The one that I have like made, I found it this year, and it's a restaurant style Mexican salsa. I have
Ooh,
been making it, Rachel, like crazy.
ooh,
Oh, it's good. And it tastes like what you're going to get in a restaurant. It is so good. I've shared it with a friend as well, who's been making it like crazy. And for her, she's been freezing the recipe because she doesn't have the equipment for canning. So,
okay. So that's another way of preserving food, like
oh, yeah.
that's a great way. Okay, wonderful. So you're going to send me the recipe and I can include it in the video. So when people
Oh,
watch
yeah.
the video, they can look at the recipe. That's so great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel very excited about trying it right now. Like before that I was like, I don't know if that's something that I want to do, but now I feel like, oh, okay, that I would love to try to do that, like especially when, like it also helps people save money because when you buy things that are in season, they are so much more affordable than when you buy them out of season.
oh,
So like if
certainly.
you buy more in season produce now, or if you get in food deliveries like I do and you get a lot of something, then it's a really really great idea to like preserve some of it for later on in the wintertime. That's
Well,
great.
and like, when you were talking before, the one thing that really connected was the fact that when you're whether you're preserving foods by drying it, freezing it, canning it, what you're doing is you're connecting with your location, because
Yeah.
you're getting the product from here,
Yes.
from where you're at. You're not having, a bushel of apples or a bushel of tomatoes shipped to your house. No, you're either picking it from your garden, you're going to a friend's to pick the apples or the pears or the peaches,
Hmm.
and or you're going to the local market,
Right.
and you're getting it, like you said, in season, but it keeps that connection to home,
Yeah.
which, there's something special about being connected to
Yes,
home.
it is. And you know what? Our bodies feel that connection to
They
the things
do.
that grow locally and it reacts with more health, like so it
Mhm.
definitely with more balance and more harmony. And I feel like that's a really great thing. That's why a big part of what I teach is to eat seasonally and to do those seasonal cleanses that I teach. And it really is a way of getting our body into that harmonious place with nature.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So, can you tell us where people can find you and what are some of the things that you are offering?
Well, I'm kind of all over the place, in more ways than one. I have three websites that currently I might have more soon. Um,
You are
anyway,
unstoppable.
I am unstoppable. I'm just like this. uh, what is it? Multi-passionate entrepreneur,
Yeah.
um, and rarely bored, rarely ever bored. But anyway, so where I house my recipes and articles, and I prior to my son's death, I published a digital magazine, and that's all at elementsforahealthierlife.com. If you're interested in reading what I've written, I do have 2 books out there. You can find that at CK Coaches, and my last name is Kochis, so it's CKKOCHIS.com. And then also, I just launched unboxyourkitchen.com. And there is where I'm hoping to really help people to expand on the whole concept of home cooking. And, you know, it's, as you know, what we eat is it's bio individuality,
Yeah.
because what you can eat, Rachel, will literally kill me. And I'm sure there's things that I can eat that would bother you, your digestion. And so that is something that I want to make sure that, people who shop there understand that I don't care where you're at with the healthy eating, whether you're just starting to learn how to do it, or if you've been doing it all your life. I want them to feel comfortable coming there and being able to get, the products that they need and want, and
Yeah.
those
So
extra
you have
little treasures.
some wonderful products on that site, on that website. I know I took a peek at it. It was like,
I
ooh, yeah.
know. And I'm having so much fun putting it together. That's why I'm like, I might be
Yeah,
doing more websites, because
that's
I could
great.
go on a whole line for my dog. I could go on a whole line for other aspects of my lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's just,
That's great. And I'm going to be including all the links. So if
oh,
people didn't write it down, we'll include the links. So don't worry about it. When you watch that video, the links will be underneath, whether it's on my Facebook page or on YouTube or on my website, we'll include all the links so people can find it easily.
perfect, because I have a tendency when I'm doing interviews to speak 300 miles an hour, and people are like getting whiplash, like, oh my God, slow down. Because I just get so wound up and I'm having fun. And
Yeah. So Cindy, thank you so much for being here and taking the mystery and intimidation out of food preserving, so people can really try it and do that. And I can't wait to get that salsa recipe from you.
well, thank
Amazing.
you.
Yeah.
And the other thing is when we prepare our foods, we're making it from love.
Yeah.
And that shows up in our foods.
Oh yes.
Where if you're getting it from a manufacturer, and I'm not knocking manufactured, because yes, I eat manufactured food because I love ice cream. Um, so, but when we
Yeah.
make it ourselves, there's that love, and you can
Yeah.
taste that in there.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Rachel, thank you for everything. I absolutely love, 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 love attending your women health circles and everything you do. I have been a huge fan of yours long before I even met you. And geez, probably from the crack of Facebook is
Yeah.
probably when I accidentally found the Health Nut Girl web fan
Yeah.
page, and I started following you way back when, long before I became a health coach. And you're probably one of the people who helped inspire that decision too. So
Oh, thank you so much.
and
Okay.
you're such a genuine friend,
Thank
and
you. Thank
your
you.
heart is in the good
Yeah,
place.
and I also appreciate my friendship with you and how it has grown through the years. Like we started as colleagues and we are now dear friends, and I'm so happy to be doing this with you and to bring so much love to women out there, whether they want to take care of their health or whether they want to feel good about themselves. So I thank you for joining me today.
Oh, sweetie, anytime, anytime. I love you to pieces.
Love you
And
too.
You're
And I want to tell everybody that don't be intimidated, don't be afraid. Like Cindy said, try it. Try it and see what comes out, and you might be, pleasantly surprised by what you can create.
yes.
Yeah. And I will see everybody at the next video. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.